guys, it's Hannah. I am going to do a quick walkthrough of what I did with my Erin Condren Petite planners for 2021. So first I have them in the camel colored folio from Erin Condren. I have their little bag here that has some goodies in it. And then I have just this little binder clip that I attached some charms to. And then I can use these little charms on it, and I think it would be pretty that way. So we'll talk about this first. So all I did was take the cord and I just slid it right through. But in order to put these on here, I took the clip part, pushed it in, I'll flip it over, pushed it in, and then pulled it out, and then added the charms from here. And that was it. And then put it back, same concept. Push the little pieces together, let go, and there it is. So the binder clip I think is from like Walmart or Target, one of the two, probably Walmart. This one is the Coffee Monster Co. Got an H from Erin Condren, and this is a little fox from Every Minute a Story. And then I just put it on here. And that was that. Then they're there. So let's go ahead and get to the guts of it, and I'll show you what I did on the inside. So for the inside, I have one of the pocket organizers from Erin Condren as well. I decided to just, for the time being, throw some washi cards in here from the Coffee Monster Co. And I have all of her washi tape that I've collected so far this year on these cards. And it's just enough for a sample to take with me on the go if I ever want to use it and make my day a little cuter, or mark off a certain section or something like that. So then we get into the fun part. You can probably already tell that there's something majorly different about these planners. Normally they come bound together with stitching down the side and not a ring. But I actually took my planners and I cut them down. So I removed the binding with a little X-Acto knife. I removed the binding from the edges. I pulled all the string out. I pulled the pages apart. And then I cut them on my paper cutter to the size that I wanted, removing basically the center crease or where the stitching was. And then I took them up to my Office Depot or Office Max or whatever it is, and I had them bind it with a coil. These are plastic coils, so they're not the best quality, but you could always, you know, cut this end and unroll it and put a new one on if you wanted to. And just a fun fact, these coils are actually the same size as the Erin Condren notebooks. So you could just dissect a notebook and then feed it through here, and then you have a metal coil of whatever color your notebook is. So for this, I put 2 books in one. January through March, April through June, July through September, October, December. And I did this because when I get done with this first 3 months, and that's usually about how long it takes for me to get sick and tired of a planner, I can flip this over and look, brand new planner, without even having to go buy a new one. So that is why I left that the way that I did. And the Erin Condren accessories, they still fit on this coil. So I got the bookmarks, which you would have seen in my previous video. I got the bookmarks, and I'm going to be using one on the month view, and then I'll be using one on the day view. So this will get moved every other day or every few days. That way I know exactly where I am. And then both of these fit in the folio just like this. I will probably keep both coiled planners in here. This will be my on-the-go everyday use, to-do lists, meetings, appointments, whatever, kids school related stuff that I will need to be keeping track of, all of the fun, amazing, fantastic things. So I put 2 books each coil because that's what fit fairly decent on the coil that they had. This one, I put the bands in between the 2 books to kind of secure it in place so it doesn't fall out. The top one I will not have on a band, which you can see I already broke this one on accident. I pulled a little too hard and it snapped, so I just tied it, but I'm not going to be using this one for this anyway. If I put something here, it's going to be something that I'm going to end up taking out anyway. So this one will come out all of the time, so I wanted it to be able to be easily removed without any snagging or issues or having to worry about bands and stuff like that. But like I said, this one is on a band, so it is staying put. I did leave, like I said, back covers, and I put the little stickers in here as well, so I still have a folder that I can use for each set of notebook. And then until January, I'm going to put it back in this little bag so that my kids don't get a hold of it. I have another notebook, bookmark, some washi tape that I'll probably put on one of those cards to be able to have it with me on the go. And then some markers, the dual tip Erin Condren markers in black. I bought the 3-pack that they have. And this will be my on-the-go, everyday, daily use planner that I will look at every single day. I showed in my previous video that I did get another planner that I will be using as my kind of decorative, creative outlet type of planner. So this one is going to be specific to, I don't care if I make a mess, I don't care if it looks like a child got a hold of it, it does not bother me at all. So that is that, and I just wanted to kind of show you guys what it is that I did. I posted on my Instagram about the coil, and I actually got a pretty decent amount of feedback that I wasn't actually expecting. So I wanted to do a little video about the coil and how I'm doing this for the year coming up. And it's gonna be a really quick video, but I just wanted to be able to share. And so each coil, so I took it, it was already pre-cut, and I said, hey, these 2 books I want together, these 2 books I want together, and in this order. And they said, okay. So it cost about $5 per coil. So $10 to get both books done after tax. So it really wasn't that bad. And I would absolutely do this again. And then there were a few people that had commented saying, hey, does the overhang bother you? And to be completely honest, I really, really thought that it would. But if you look, so these coils kind of intertwine together right here in the middle when they touch. So that kind of keeps them together. But you can tell that, you know, the planner ends, the cover ends here. And then you have a little bit of stick out from the pages. But that doesn't, honestly, it doesn't really bother me. So when the band goes on it, it kind of brings those books in just a snug bit more. And then you have barely a hangover, which you guys can see on camera. I can zoom you in just a little bit so you guys can kind of see better. There's this much of an overhang along the edge. And really, so if you think about it, let me get my camera back. So really, if you think about it, when you put in 4, 5, 6 books into this petite folio, you start to get overhang. So I have 4 books in here and I have a little bit of overhang, but that's because I added the coil. So when I put in my previous one, I had, you know, 5 or 6 books in it. There was still overhang. So this doesn't really bother me because it's going to happen regardless, depending on how many books you have in your planner. And will I keep the second one in here permanently? Well, that's my plan, but that doesn't mean that's going to happen. But to kind of show you, you know, you take one out and then you put the band back on. And then you don't have hangover. And it's not too heavy, it's still pretty light. You have 2 books in here. You don't have a lot of, like, this is fairly flush. So maybe that kind of helps you guys decide if you want something like this. So that's with 1 book in it. And will it probably end up like this a lot of times in my bag? That's very likely. And then this will probably be out more so than not. And probably, honestly, flipped to the day that I'm working on because of my running to-do list. So it's kind of going to be a play with it as it goes type of thing. But I do enjoy the coil for these specifically. And I think it is very convenient. But that is my opinion only. I am not being told or anything like that to say any of these things, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys had some information on it before you guys go into it. Oh, so when you look at the pages, I barely cut anything off. So these coils don't interfere with the lines. So then my holes aren't on the check marks or messing up the lines or anything like that. And that's why I cut it myself, because had I not cut it myself, I can't tell you for sure if, you know, the pages are going to line up correctly, or if it's going to be too far over and they cut into this, or, you know, if they cut into this, lines on the edge, it really doesn't bother me because I'm probably not going to put too much there anyway. But I liked the idea of the check boxes, so I was glad that I could cut it in a way that they wouldn't get into it. Like this is, we'll go to the very last one because that's kind of when the binding was different, or the center of the binding was placed a little differently. So this is the very last page of that petite planner, and this is when the curve of that book, if you look at a normal, let me see if I can, so here's my previous one, and I have 3 books in here right now. So this is that stitching that I'm talking about that I removed right along here. So when you get to the last page, the stitching is actually placed a little differently because the pages themselves are placed in a way that they fan out at the edge right here instead of line up, you know, straight up and down, which is what I did on mine. So when you get to, let's look at the monthly view. So when you get to this monthly view and you go and take out the pages, you see you're gonna have more space this side, less space on this side, because the stitching creeps over into this page more than it creeps into this page because you're at the end of that curve, if that makes sense. So when you get to the last day, you're gonna be closer to these check marks, but I didn't want to be so close that it got into the check marks. I can still check off these little circles and it'd be fine. And just so you guys can see, we'll look at this next one. See how they're slowly creeping to get closer to that edge? So same thing, you're getting really, really close to that edge, or that binding where the check boxes are. So I wanted to be able to cut the pages myself and avoid these getting ruined because holes get punched through them. And another thing to think about is if they cut your pages, you can't guarantee that the lines are going to be straight. 2, you're not going to be able to guarantee that when they shove this thing into the thing to do the holes in the page, that when they push down, that they're not going to be getting the very, very edge of the paper. And then you get it and you open it and you get it all together and you get it home, and then you go and you flip to a page and the page falls out because it was punched too close to the edge. So I wanted to make sure that when they shoved it into this thing and they punched it, it was straight and it was on the page and it wasn't going to fall out. So that's why I did it myself, and then I had them coil it. But that is going to be that, and this video is going to be really, really short, so I appreciate all of the lovely people that end up watching this because it's very appreciated. And I like to be able to share experiences with you guys. Got a little, the band went through my coil. If you can see, it's right here. But anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Once 2021 comes around and I start using this, I will also do videos and plan with me's in this with you and planning the entire week out at a time. And then as the days go, I'll probably add in or cross off or move things that I need to when that time comes. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed for more videos like this and other plan with me's and some bullet journal videos here and there as well. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I hope you guys had a good Halloween weekend. I know here specifically in Missouri it was snowing and I didn't like it. My kids asked for Christmas decorations to come up because it was snowing, and I can't do that just yet, even though it feels like it's really, really close. I think we're gonna have a pretty gnarly Christmas winter season, that's for sure. So I hope you guys had a good weekend, and I hope you continue to have a good week, and I will see you guys in the next video.